Bolivia's insurance market has been assigned a stable outlook according to a recent AM Best report. Here to discuss that is Elí Sánchez, Senior Associate Director at AM Best, and Alfonso Novelo, Senior Director at AM Best. Elí, what are your expectations in regards to growth opportunities in Bolivia?
Good morning. The insurance industry in Bolivia has been performing quite healthy. It has grown around 3.4% from 2017, and then in 2018 it grew around 11%. This outpaces the growth that gross domestic product has had in the country of around 4 to 4.3%. We expect these conditions to remain positive, as we have seen the IMF reporting that poverty has been diminishing in the country. Right now there's an insurance penetration ratio of around 1.9%. In terms of the development of the economics there, we see improvements that have materialized in the life insurance sector that represents around 14% of the total gross written premiums. We believe it's important there to have a good domestic demand, and this has driven the consumption in the life insurance segment. We have seen it growing around 21% in 2018. In comparison, the non-life insurance segment, which represents around 58%, has been growing also, not as strong as the life sector. However, both sectors have remained profitable. One thing that we have seen tied to the performance of the non-life sector has been the global economy affecting the country, but also there's been some political uncertainty that has limited somehow the growth in the non-life segment. Government spending is likely to keep increasing, and this could drive positively the property segment.
Alfonso, from a financial strength point of view, how would you describe the insurance industry in Bolivia?
Well, as Elí mentioned, the Bolivian insurance sector shows strong or acceptable growth dynamics. So that in hand with good profitability levels of the industry when measured as return on equity or return on assets in the case of life companies, and also considering the reinvestment of all those profits within the sector, it has helped to strengthen the capital levels, the capitalization levels of the industry as a whole. There are very few companies that show negative bottom line results, so in general it's a very healthy market in terms of capitalization and profitability.
What's driving the stable outlook, Alfonso?
Well, in terms of the stable outlook that we have for the Bolivian insurance sector, basically we see a very constant number of participants over time. It's an industry that it's basically divided half and half between life insurance and property and casualty insurers. In terms of premiums, we're pretty also very close to that 40% to 60% in terms of life and property and casualty. One of the things to consider here is that the industry has been growing adequately. A lot of growth opportunities for organic growth, since the GDP, the penetration of insurance premiums over the GDP of the country, it's somewhere around 2%. So definitely when you compare it to more developed markets, there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and also the companies operating in the market are very profitable. It's a concentrated market. There's the division between life and non-life companies because of the regulation requires so. But if we were to sort of merge companies or the same insurance groups that represent that carry the same name, basically you will see that the 5 largest carriers in the country have around 80% of the premiums. There's no much room as of this moment for M&A activity in the country. I think that in general the strong capitalization of these companies doesn't pose a threat in order for some companies to be looking for some M&A activity. And still the participation of global players is very, very limited, and that sort of keeps away the strong performance of the market. We expect that the good trend in operating performance continues, and we don't see major threats in terms of capitalization, aside from dramatic regulatory changes that might impose some pressure in the performance of the industry. So that's why we believe that the overall the outlook that we have for that for the Bolivian insurance sector, it's very stable.
Thanks, Eli. Alfonso.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber. Thanks, Eli. Alfonso. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.